Computer.
Welcome back to another Genius Days episode. Today we're talking about pandemic panic, how fear is the real virus, how fear is so contagious right now. And we all just need to find ways to be mentally resilient, to have thicker skin, to be able to approach this very differently. Disclaimer before we begin, we're not here to teach, we're not here to tell you what to do in your life. We're here to speak from our own experience and what has served us. And if you share any of these truths, just let people know where the source of it is. Let's get started. So, every single time I notice myself getting very distracted, and the word distraction means taking you away from what you intended, right? So basically, if you intend on something, the distraction will, you're meant to go from A to B, the distraction takes you from A to C instead. So now it's up to you to maintain almost like an inner sanctum, like a fortress of solitude where you are able to regenerate in that space, where you feel safe. You're not looking for a safe space. Your body is the safe space. So that's the first initial reminder, is to emphasize the importance of self-care and self-love being the foundation, because all our emotions are just signals telling us that we care about ourselves. We're sad because it's meaningful to us, because we care about ourselves. We're angry because someone crossed our boundaries and we care about that. So that's why we're demonstrating that, right? So as we know from a lot of personal development advice, fear is false evidence appearing real, right? Or some people also say first attempt in learning. uh, no, that's another one. First attempt in learning? No, that's fail.
Yeah.
That's fail. So basically, what I've been working on right now is the fundamentals of gratitude, forgiveness. I know that Ivan was talking about this as well, on how he's taking showers with cups of water. Um, what forgiveness and gratitude really does, it frees up the knots of resentment. What if you can look at charisma, what it really is its energy flow, right? So but when something prevents our energy flow, when something constricts us, like fear is a very scarcity based mindset. We're looking towards surviving, we're looking towards threat in our environment and danger around ourselves. And so when we come back to our truth and feeling safety within our own bodies, it melts that away. And I constantly check in with my heart and my own breathing and slowing down my breathing when I find myself going down the rabbit hole of, like, looking up news or someone's distracting me or something like that. So I'd highly recommend you guys to forgive yourselves and to also be able to hang around level-headed people, like really calm people. Social interaction is going to help you free up your like it's going to activate your vagus nerve, and basically it's going to get you from that fight or flight fear mode into much of a relaxation mode where you can finally like melt and be with yourself. So healthy healing conversations with people and the kinds of social interaction that is going to heal you and make you feel better is really important. And also, which is why we started doing these Genius Days, so we can get a tribe going, so we can, generate those vibes and connect our minds, like we said last time. And that is why we're here. Take it
That's
away,
what's
Ivan.
up. That's what's up. So basically, I wanted to talk about like, so here in Texas, there's some places where you can walk in without a mask, right? And there's some places where you like, they're like, yo, you don't have to do curbside pickup for this, right? But like most of the time, I just like I can get away with just like going in there, and what really like it helps me is smiling, right? Like if I'm smiling, I'm I'm uh, I'm not holding up a wall in a way where I've seen where other people were Like, I mean, you got to be brave, to be honest, to walk into a store where every person is wearing a mask except you, right? And so a lot of these people, they have to build themselves up to be like real tough or whatever, They walk in there, they're like real serious and shit, right? And that's how I felt. Like I had to you be like sometimes before, like, don't fuck with me, bitch. I ain't gonna tell you some shit, right? But what I noticed was that the recently I went to a store and I woke up. I woke up feeling like a warlord. I'll tell you that. That's just how I felt, right? And I was like, bro, I'm commanding legions in the spirit world. Like, don't fuck with me, bitch. We gonna show up in the middle of the night, pull your legs. and but I walk into the store, with this attitude, and this guy's like, "You got a mask, sir?" And I was like, "Nah." And he's like, "Can I? Well, I can give you a mask." And I was like, "No, thanks." And he was like, "Then you're gonna have to order curbside pickup." And he like turns around, and I was like, "Is it faster?" Right? Obviously, I know it's not faster, but I have to have some sort of free will here, man. You don't just fucking put that manipulative move on me, bro. I should. I've been pissed at that guy. That was so manipulative, bro. The way they're doing that. They're like, "Oh, there's something that you need, or you're gonna need to comply." It's like so disgusting, bro. And I put the fucking mask on. I went through the store real quick. I got my shit. I dipped. But like I was like, and when he gave me the mask, I was like, I ain't afraid of this shit. And he's like, I didn't ask you if you were afraid. And I was like, I know. But it was just like that's probably the only situation that I've had to like that was like people were really like mad about me not wearing a mask. Most of the times the people are cool, right? And the reason is I feel like it's been working for me is because whenever I walk, I'm telling myself I stand on my truth, right? And then I go through the facts in my head. What are the facts? The COVID is going down here in Texas. That's a fact. Even though the restrictions are off, that's a fact. Um, I have an extremely good immune system. I take care of myself. I eat right. That's a fact, right? Um, this COVID shit can't even is like it can't touch you. Like they say they can, but I mean, only really like fucking people who treat their body like shit. That's who people who fucking get really hurt, and not normal people. So that's a fact for me. So like as I'm walking around, I have to hold the facts in my mind and I have to hold my values in mind and I don't want to sacrifice that. So that's how I would say like, whenever you have to deal with people, just hold on to your values tight.
Yeah, man. Values are super key. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Now, I was just gonna say, there's a very interesting thing that you guys said on the ideas of technically unblocking the constraints that are being given to you, be it from an internal constraint as well as an external constraint in the form of manipulation. What if there was a bigger goal behind this? Because let's say the pandemic of fear, also known as the lockdown, is being used to keep us in a cage. And what happens to cage animals? They get sick. Cur. Why do animals isolate themselves? Is because they're sick. And hence, I'm also arguing the point of, although I don't completely agree with Alejandro, comply, get your shit, get out. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. It doesn't have to be a big deal. In that same sense, I don't have to accept the fear that's being propagated. I can acknowledge, assuming the government has our best interest in mind, I can assume I need to keep myself healthy, and I'll take the positive of the situation as a reminder of health and self-care. For those of us doing the beasting process, we have to wake up early just to be healthy, to work on the whole idea of taking in good food, challenging our body through both cold water and tough workouts in order to build a healthier being. With, of course, the vitamin C's and the vitamin D's, with all the innuendos. And then you start to realize that if you are still being, let's say, quote unquote, triggered, is it that you're letting something trigger you, or is it simply the case that you should fear the situation? For the whole vitamin alpha, just take it in. Indeed, Joe. I would like to argue the point of choose what makes you strong, like weed, for instance, Alejandro. Choose what makes you strong and embrace it. Show them your power. He who is in fear will be hurt. If you're afraid of getting punched, you will be punched. You will get hurt. You see this in martial arts. You see that when working construction. I have worked in construction for a few months, and every time I got hurt, it was usually because Jack was like to get high. A nice side note. And all fear causes is tension. Tension is the enemy of the artist. Tension or stress makes us sick. It's the same tension that destroys relationships. It's the same tension that breaks families. It's the same tension, to that extent, might even break a country. There's an economic tension on all of society right now, and we're feeling it all in our pockets. Well, all of us, assuming the government is also feeling it as well. This is not a activism, a movement per se that I'm proclaiming, but I am saying it's kind of funny. So in essence, you decide what controls you. You decide what you tolerate. Do you tolerate the fear that's being propagated, or do you use it as further validation of get your shit together? I would like to give the mic to Sumit.
Awesome, man. Yeah. It's definitely a mirror into how we handle, like, adversity reveals so much about us and our character, right? Because when we put through tough situations, that's really when the real self shows up. Like, sure, it can be the side of you that's like complaining about the situation, or all these things that come up that we repressed, right? But it gives us the opportunity to show up very differently and use that opportunity. Like, I know when me and Joe were working, Joe's on this call, he's my business coach. And basically, we came up with an idea to pivot my business when it came down to COVID. And I remember we were doing this like alliteration copywriting where I was like, let's cut to the chase. COVID consciousness has been creating chaos. Does your constant conversations about COVID have you constipated with your cash and your career? Is there a cacophony of chattering chipmunks criticizing you and crushing your capability to consistently and continuously create? Do you remember that, Joe?
I do. That was kind of fun, actually. I remember when this whole COVID thing hit, I was driving from San Diego to Texas in the middle of the desert. It's like nothing could touch me. I'm in the middle of nowhere. And, I was listening to the news a little bit. Mostly I was listening to the Grateful Dead, which is, being grateful, like we know we're all going to die. So why not dance? I mean, like, why not get into the flow, right? But there's a difference between a virus and all the drama and the wah, 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 wah storytelling around it. Okay. And, what are we afraid of? What we're going to die? We're afraid we're going to die. Well, guess what? It came with, it's kind of a deal. When you get born, you're going to die. Okay. So what are you afraid of? And you know, gosh, in the last 30 days, I probably spent $1,000 on nutritional stuff. I got this protein here, Shakeology. You probably can't see it, but it's not just food, but it's got superfoods in it. And it's like, I'm losing weight, man. I'm getting healthy. You know, one of the questions nobody really asked around this pandemic thing is the virus this strong, or why is everybody's immune system so weak? Why is everybody so freaking weak? Because those are the people that end up dying. You know, we all got an immune system. Thank God I got an immune system. And anyway, you know, you had this little flyer for this event, Sumedh, you know, and you had like fear and flow. In a way, like to me, like the opposite of fear is faith, you know. And I'm just kind of curious, you know, what's the difference between flow and faith? And how does that connect into the opposition of fear?
That's a wonderful question, Joe. Where does flow connect to faith? I think there definitely have been a lot of, like, if we're looking at it scientifically, like flow has been seen to have these quasi-mystical effects. So I definitely think that there are religious experience or even spiritual experience has this feeling of connectedness, feeling of our ego fading away, feeling like time doesn't exist anymore, feeling like, and so there are these spiritual states that are very associated with the flow state. And I think that faith is a wonderful word because it's also this understanding of trust in one's own self and trust in one's own nature, which I think is related to Taoism and the way that flow comes across in flow state philosophy and Wu and the Tao. And the Tao is like the state of, you got to trust the Tao. It's like, just like you got to trust God, you got to let go of the wheel and let God take over, right? In a sense. So that's that trust, that's that faith. And I think that's that flow. When you're moving with the universal current and not resisting things and like fighting the universe, that's really where you're tapping into the flow. And that's where you're seeing more synchronicities, good luck. You know, I came to this understanding of good luck, and maybe Mr. Neil Kirk can add a little bit to this. But I was thinking about it, like good luck is this idea of acting on coincidences, right? It's like this acting on the circumstance that you're given and being able to really be able to be present in that moment of luck when it shows up, because luck is all around us. It's just we don't really tap in and look at those opportunities and really be able to use that luck, you know. And it definitely is a different state of being in a consciousness when we can actually put luck in action rather than thinking about like, oh, it's this woo-woo thing, right? What do you think, Mr. Kerr?
Thanks for bringing me in, Sumedh. Well, as you know, my thoughts and that is luck is just a word, and I've given a reference to it in my little video there. But on what you're saying to me, in short, it's opportunity, is it not? And before I continue, I'd like to make a little statement that fear, this is, if you want to agree with me or not, it's based on being uneducated. It's you have no knowledge in something, no knowing. And when you have no knowing, that becomes fearful, true or false. So luck is, it's opportunities, right? But what is it? It's what is the residual effect of your doings. So let's say for you, for example, you took on life experiences, you made decisions, you made choices, you went to England and you went to America and you did study, right? So you went through the process, and we talked that, I think it was on the last call, and that's where the faith ties into it, because it's a trust. So if you have a trust in something, a trust in the process, so faith could be the trust in the belief. And what is a belief? Belief is the information you deem valid. And so is there really luck, or is it just the universe, what I dubbed the cosmic council, cosmic communications, being a reflection? I think we brought this up in another call about the world. Your environment is a reflection of who you are within yourself, how you think and how you act. And then what you do with these opportunities is simply up to you. So people go, oh, look at Sumedh, he's kicking ass, he's in India, he's such a lucky guy. Is he a lucky guy, or is he's just a disciplined person? He's committed to what he wants to get out of life. He's a well fucking trained person, well educated person, right? He went and studied his fucking ass off. He made sacrifices. He made compromises. These are his consequences. Consequences is not necessarily a negative thing. It's sequences. It's sequences of, if I do this, oh, the consequences, but it could be a positive as well. So is there really luck? I don't think it is such a thing. I think it's just a word, and there's a lot of words out there that are all fluff and bubble, designed in such a way to keep people separate. Because I'm just not lucky enough, you know, right? If you win the lotto, you're lucky. No, I've spent fucking hundreds of thousands of dollars on fucking tickets every fucking day. So I've just been plugging into the system. So let's look at it like that. Let's look at, we're plugging into the system. And that could be your flex, Sumedh. You know, how do I flex without flexing? It would be just do you. Do what you need to do to get things done, right? And then is it the luck? No, I'm just doing things to get things done. And by doing that, it exposes me to circumstances, to situations, to opportunities, to different outcomes, to different people. We're on this call. Is it by luck? Is it by chance? No, I made a conscious decision to be here. If someone out of this turns around and says, hey man, I like what you do, I've watched a few videos, can you help me out with some of your stuff? Oh, geez, that's lucky. No, it isn't. It's about positioning ourselves. And things about the compliance factor, I'm with Ryan. It's a small, minute agreement. And I was thinking about this today. Sportsmanship doesn't mean you're playing on the same team. It's just conduct. You're just conducting yourself in a polite manner, right? So you can shake hands with the other team, or you could say, fuck off, I'm going to kill you motherfuckers next time we play. Oh, that's not very nice sportsmanship. So if someone says, wear this, do that, just because in that moment you might think you're complying, no, you're just conducting yourself in a polite manner to do what you need to do to get things done. And, you know, and that's it. And then about tension, it's interesting you guys brought that, because you're not in a position where you can be flexible. It's like the classic go with the flow, right? Go with the flow. Sometimes I feel it's important to be rigid, to be staunch, to stand your ground. Then there's other times when, yes, things are coming at us that are, oh, this is really intense, but we've got to have that flow. And it's like Ryan makes references to martial arts, and I would do the same in this thing. You can't stand there and be all stiff like a robot. You need to learn to be, like Bruce Lee says, be like water. And that's allowing for that split second to allow yourself to not necessarily be manipulated by your situations and your environment, but to be able to contour to them and get around them or let them pass you through, because everything's temporary, right? Joe's saying we're all gonna fucking die. So I was thinking about this today. Why am I wasting so much energy about something that will eventually, it's already gone, right? Because we're in every now becomes another now. So this now, I'm talking to you guys, it's gone. We're in this now. So I'm glad I'm on here, because I had a very irate day. And I think it's important that you be honest with yourself. And how do you flex without flexing? Well, you just don't need to brag. You don't, like Ryan was saying, don't worry about this external validation with everything. Some people will clap, some people won't, some people don't even know
You
you
mind if I take
exist.
it from here, Neil?
Go for it.
So there's
Thanks,
this
guys.
way. There's this way when you I say the way you dress is communication. You're trying to say something about yourself, right? So do it the same way, but with different physical materials. People always like to avoid the physical world because, oh, the world of the mind and the world of spirit is so much better. But why do you want to increase your spirit? So it's just you have a better experience here in the material world. This is physical. This is a material, guys. This is real. You know, even though it's myth, even though even though it's not real, it's fucking real. Okay. So it's almost like wear it, but know that it's just a cherry on or like some sort of like not necessarily being on top, but like it being like, oh, just like a small thing that is like here, like you would have to focus. You'd be like you would have to focus to find it,
like an
right?
accessory. You're saying it's like a prop. It's like it's like an added thing.
It's like a little shiny thing that you can even put it like a little pin here, right? Or you can put something like on the cuff or even just somewhere shiny. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna go whoop, and they're gonna look, and they're just gonna have to check you out in that moment, and they're gonna be like, "Damn, this nigga beasted." They're gonna be like, "He like beasting." But I feel like we got off the fucking how to end this fucking COVID shit, how to fucking terminate this shit, stomp to the ground, right? There's something practical that I'm doing, and it's a bit strange to some people. A lot of people told me not to do it, but of course I did it and they didn't. And then this situation came up twice during the pandemic, and that was the food shortage. The food shortage. You guys remember that? At some point, everyone was like fucking fighting over toilet paper and shit.
Yeah, who doesn't?
I was like, people, yo, pack a big ass crate, put your dried fruit, put your nuts, put some olive oil, put some canned goods, some soups in there, some protein shake, and then electrolyte juice, and coconut water, and a variety of milks, ranging from almond milk to macadamia milk and hemp milk. These are my favorites. Like, it's just putting it onto a crate. It's like, I'm safe. I'm no matter what the outside world does, they don't have this.
Yeah, prepper.
Whatever the outside world does, I'm protected. They can't touch me, and I don't rely on them. I don't rely on them for my safety. That just has to be like that.
Don't forget that zinc supplement, bro.
Zinc,
Yeah.
vitamin D,
Yeah.
chlorella, crack cell wall. You'll be a different man because this is the food that you liked whenever you were a fish.
Back in the day.
You feel me?
Yeah, man. Joe, what I believe was it Joe or was it Neil? You're talking about tension, right? I think tension is such an interesting, and Ryan as well, you're talking about tension. So I think of tension as almost like a slingshot, right? It's like you pull back enough when you can use it in some way. So too much of it in your performance drops, but the right amount of it, and it becomes potential. It's potential energy, right? It becomes momentum. It becomes something. So being able to use the fear instead of pushing it away. So people are giving us facts and all this stuff of what to believe about this thing. Everyone has their own ideas about it. Everyone has conspiracies that they believe in. And the more we start getting split mind in terms of that, like we're just in every single direction, we start to get really scattered. And it takes us away from our purpose and our mission. So I think the important things is to be able to just rest in our own selves, in our own groundedness, right? And how we carry ourselves throughout the day. And I think that that's a really important aspect of not getting so caught up in this, like, it almost feels like a zombie apocalypse. You know what I mean? It feels like, oh man, like these people are sick, they're gonna get me sick. And we're living in this kind of survival-based mindset, and it's affecting our root chakra, Muladhara, meaning root support, right? All this other stuff. And that's not the way to go about it. The way is to strengthen from within the immune system, as you guys said. So yeah.
There's this, there is a natural fear response of adrenaline. Your feet slip out from under you, you're going to fall, you fall on your ass. I mean, holy shit, I'm scared because like I'm actually really in danger. And what I find really interesting is, if you just watch the news for about 30 minutes, you'll feel that same thing, and it's like, there's no real danger. It's just, they're telling really scary stories, and it gets us adrenaline, it gets us whacked. This is why I don't pay too much attention to the news. If something's really important enough, people will talk about it. It'll appear on my Facebook newsfeed or whatever. But there is a very real adrenaline response to really dangerous situation where we really are in danger and we have a fear of our life. And we need to control. It's not just what happens to us, but how do we respond to what happens to us? Do we respond in a way that when the drama comes, we like lower our stance, deepen our breathing, get all centered, be the calm in the middle of the storm? Or do we wig out? Do we become drama queens? Do we wah, 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 and so there is a real adrenaline, and we also need, there are things we can do to protect ourselves. We can't, real danger should trigger the adrenaline, but if we can be in no danger at all, but the storytelling gives us a sense of danger, we can put ourselves into that unhealthy adrenaline response regardless. And so it's up to us to control that.
100%.
Yeah, I can add on to that, what you just said, because you bring a few good points up. One is knowing. Like, do we actually know? You have to, okay, do I know? Do I really know? I have some ideas. So be definite about what it is you know. The next is, what can I control here? Can I control this? Can I control that? All I can do is control how I conduct myself. When we all know that. Just be focused on what you can and cannot control. Then the next is asking the question, is the way I'm thinking, behaving, is it benefiting me? So this would sort of tie in with the topic that you guys have got here with how do I gain mental toughness or gaining mental toughness? And it's having that faith or the trust. And then, I know this, like Alejandro said, if I've got this type of food, I know I'm sorted. I can control that. I can control what I can put in my body. I can control how I think and interact with the situation. And even if you acknowledge that how I'm thinking or acting and behaving is not good, then that's putting you in another position where it's leading you to being in more control. I think you said it early before, I'm not sure if we're recording, that someone was saying something, and the fact that they don't even know what they're saying and how that can be what's the freaking word? Detrimental to their own character, yet they're thinking that they're walking around with their chest puffed out. So I just want to say, with all of this, it's like at the end of the day, you just take a check. Am I doing what is right for me, first and foremost? And there's situations that are going on in everyone's life, but it's you first, because until we have us right, how are we going to act right with everyone else? So knowing, control, and just thinking and behaving, and is it a benefit? That's always comes down to that for me. Is it what I'm doing a fucking benefit or not?
I love how you mentioned character, Mr. Neil, because I think that, if you guys are familiar with psycho-cybernetics, the self-image is so important. So we have to create a self-image for ourselves that is healthy. that is powerful, that is strong. If it deviates from that self-image, we're going to start doing activities and start going back to our old selves and, just kind of wavering. But if we keep that image of ourselves being that strong leader, that resilient person in our minds, and that healthy person who has a strong immune system, I think that's really going to help people come back to that core and really start to focus again. I want to hear from some of the new people who joined us. I know we have Miracle J, welcome brother, Chevelle, we have Rye. Um, anything to add in, guys? Any perspectives? Anything you want to say about this topic?
I think in times of crisis, true leaders emerge. So I think that a lot of people are wigging out. Okay. But those of us that remain calm and those of us that step into our leadership, people are silently begging for leadership. And if they don't get leadership from sensible people like us on this call, they're going to get their leadership from CNN. Okay. And they're going to get it from really unreliable sources. They're going to get it from places that are fear mongering and encouraging fear. So I just want, I think and Grow Rich should be called Think Accurately and Grow Rich. And for, those of us going through whatever, I think it's for us to really use our mind, tune into our heart, tune into spirit, say our prayers, ask a higher source than the humans on this planet. Go to God. Okay. And when we're tuned in and when we're in alignment ourselves and when we're very clear, and we step into leadership and we give people sensible, people are very afraid. And if we can be into that leadership role, we can be the ones that reassure and give guidance, but during times of crisis is when leaders emerge. And that's the opportunity right now, is even though a lot of people are scared, I look at the people on this call and I see some pretty damn strong people. I see leaders. I see people that are doing good shit. Okay. And so just because, can millions of people be wrong? Absolutely.
Can I add something real quick here, fellas?
Yes.
It's what Joe said about fear and leaders, and it just made me think: why is it that if you're with someone, I don't know, let's make something a made up thing here. If we're out and about at night, let's say I'm with Ryan. Ryan's an accomplished martial artist. I'm new to the area. I have no fucking idea what's going on, who jumps out at what time, if they're on drugs or not. But that fear will be subdued when I'm with someone who knows what they're doing and what they're about. And why is that fear being subdued? Because of trust, of faith in. So and I just wanted to highlight that, because why is it that we feel better being around certain people? Because we have a faith, we have a trust, we have a knowing that they know their shit, and as long as I stick with this person, I'm in good hands. So I just wanted to recalibrate and highlight that, because we are talking about the fear and the flow. And so if you put, I think it's Tony Robbins says, energy flows or goes where the focus flows, or something along. Energy flows where the focus goes. So what are you focusing on? If you're focusing on all the drama, yeah, you're going to be wigging out. But if you're focusing on what you can control, what you know, what you have trust and belief in, then everything's hunky dory. I just wanted to highlight that about why fear can be subdued at times when we're around certain people, because it's the faith, it's the trust.
Awesome. So in this last, I think we have like 20 minutes or so left. Ryan, time check. Yeah. So I want to go into some coaching. So if you guys have any questions in terms of what you're going through, anything you guys are struggling with right now, anything that you're currently going through that we can help you with in regards to this topic.
For sure. Questions. Anything. Literally, if you're like, I got an itch on my lower back, you'd be like, all right, all right, I got you, all right. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna buy this cream, right? It has a specific amount of oxygen. It's gonna re-oxygenate your skin, no, stuff like that too. Actually, we've been knowing stuff like that. Any questions? Y'all got questions? That's cool. I'll ask myself a question. Why am I so goddamn sexy? Shit. That's a good question, Ivan. Shit. I really can't answer you. Okay. Next question.
How do you
What about
manage
you,
so many
Ryan?
women?
Hello.
How do you manage so many women?
I don't. I don't think anybody does. Oh,
They do what they damn well please.
fuck. Kitty cats.
Here's a question for everyone on a serious note. Irritability. Dealing with irritability. Do you deal with it? Do you manage it? Do you conquer it? It's a serious question. So what's everyone's thoughts on that?
One,
What,
just
what are
because
you
it's a
getting
serious
irritated by?
question, could you repeat that, Alejandro?
What are you getting? What are you getting triggered by? Is it bringing out something inside of you that you don't like?
Yeah, man, the in the beast, the green monster comes out. Irritability when people conduct themselves in a certain way that is not congruent with my thinking. So it's, it'd be like that guy, that for example, like that guy said something. If I went in and it spoke to me a certain way, I'd get irritable. And there's a part of me that just wants to go, oh, you're just so lucky. I can't do anything, because if I do anything, I get in trouble. So that gets because of my history, right? So
So
my
Right.
are you
shot
really
call,
saying?
my shot
Are
caller
you really
history.
saying that you're not safe? That it makes you not feel safe around the people who are like they're the followers. They're the ones that are dangerous. They're the menace to society. Is that what you're saying? Like that sort of makes you feel that way?
No, the irritability with not being in a like if we're back in the day of the sword, people wouldn't fuck with me. You know what I mean? Because I'd be able to act. I wouldn't have to hang on, Neil. Ooh, be calm, breathe. Don't let the Hulk out. But it's like these people can't. Why are they allowed to behave like this? So there's that irritation, but from my perspective, and then it's like, why do I need? Why does it bother me? And then it bothers me because no one's doing anything about it. So
Yeah,
I
Neil,
get irritable.
We're the ones doing it. We're the ones doing it, man.
Neil, I think there's always Bob Donnell used to say that unfulfilled expectations are the cause of like worry, frustration, like 5 bad things. Okay. And so when you expect things to be one way and they show up a different way, it really gets us into trouble. Okay. And so I don't know. It's like, oh, I expect you to be nice to me and then you're mean to me. It's like, you're not meeting my expectations. And so a gap between how we want it to be versus how it is does create a certain amount of irritability. The other thing that I went to immediately was gut health, just, if your gut isn't healthy, it causes all kinds of problems and irritability could be one of them. So I've been doing a lot of stuff to get that stuff all healed up and it's changed me energetically. I feel better. So, internally you can clean up your gut. Also internally, you have an expectation of how things are supposed to be. So I think you just need to like let go of your expectation or, um, like maybe people shouldn't be nice to you. Maybe they should be nice to you. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe some people are just mean people. Like,
It's
you
about
know,
that nice. That doesn't. What it would be is, let's say I'm conducting myself when I'm being prim and proper. We're driving along, and then someone comes along and be's a dickhead, starts causing havoc. There's that irritates me because part of me wants to just go into, if you seen that movie or trying to remember what that movie is, that black car and just goes around the Black Terror or something, and part of me just wants to go, that's it. I've had enough of people fucking carrying on like this. Someone needs to do that. Then
you
there's the
know,
irritation I can't do that, because if I do something, I will hurt them really badly and I will get in trouble. But if that person put my life and everyone else's life in jeopardy. And so, yeah, that I get irritated, because I'm like, man, if sometimes I wish we were the way of the sword, because there's a lot of people wouldn't be fucking around like they are.
Yeah, when I'm driving, I have a mantra that I am too blessed to be stressed. You know, I am too blessed to be stressed. And there are a lot of assaholics on the road. They should go to Assaholics Anonymous. But you know, I have this mantra: I'm too blessed to be stressed, and these other people want to put their stress on me. So I'm like, I have this conversation. It's like, no, that's your stress. It's not mine. You're not allowed to put your stress on me. Okay. So I'm too blessed to be stressed. Other people are stressed, but that's theirs. I give them ownership of their stress, but I'm not going to take on their stress to me. So I'm too blessed to be stressed. You're being an assaholic. Okay. Well, guess what? I'm not going to let you put your assholeness on me. Okay. I'm too blessed to be stressed. And if you got stress, it's yours. I'm not going to give you permission to throw that monkey on my back. It's not allowed.
That's a good point, Joe, and I would like to interject on that. Excuse me, Sumedh. The monkey on the back perspective has a lot to do with what do you tolerate. Of course, let's be collaborative, let's be civil. At the same time, this follows a technology we got from IMC where you catch the trigger, which is my trigger. For some reason, this triggers me. And then there's two paths we can take. The path of simply surrendering to the situation because there's nothing that I can do, meaning I cannot do anything about someone being a dick. At the same time, measure twice, cut once. The whole idea of maybe it's just an off day, fine. But if you keep being a dick, I will cut you following the way of the sword, but in a more verbal sense, of course. We're not trying to go to jail. At least I'm hoping so.
Already been there.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And what if we could have the beast in the form of a warrior monk? This follows the IMC principles again, where yes, you are a beast because that's what a warrior literally is. It's meant for war, it's in the name, war ring, warrior. But the monk comes from the sense of although I'm a warrior, there is peace within, meaning I am my own peace and I decide what's affecting me or what should affect me or what will affect me or what I feel offended by. Some people get triggered by the color orange. I think it's a very pretty color, but who am I to say? Do you see the absurdity of the situation and how funny it gets? And it's because of my own character, I always make jokes. If I feel triggered, why not fucking laugh at it for a second and just look at it objectively? The warrior saints. Interesting. Tell me more.
What's your, because there's a part of me that understands that. Then there's the other part that's like I was saying, someone needs to stop this type of shit, because these people just
Is that
keep
true?
going. What's that?
Is it true that somebody needs to stop that shit?
Well, I feel it is. If you look at it, it's weeds in someone's garden. As part like that irritates me, but I have the ability to take the weeds out. But obviously, this time the weeds there's more social dynamics around that, and so it's because maybe it's a feeling, I'm not sure, that I've been given something and I'm not acting on it 100% or going the right way. But I feel that yeah, someone has to do something, because no one's seeing the consequences.
Can I
No
ask you
one's
a question? Can I ask you a question, Neil?
Yes, sir.
What are you doing to serve? How are
What
you
do you mean?
serving? How are you serving your community? What are you doing to serve? What are you doing to contribute to this? To the
Through
ending
the
of the,
lifestyle creation advisory.
can you repeat that?
Through the lifestyle creation advisory. So nothing actually organic in the sense. It's more through the digital form. But in regards to your question, actually into the community, no, I haven't dove
That's
into that.
that's
That would be
that's
a
what you
lot
need
more
to do. That's what you need to do. If something
yeah,
really bothers you, you got to be the one that steps in with the action, boots on the ground.
I don't know if you can get all the weeds out of the garden. You know, my mom, I'd go out and weed for an hour or two, and my mom would say, "Did you get all the goddamn weeds?" And I'm like, and then it would rain, and it's like a billion weeds would show up again. So I don't know if we can get all the weeds out of the garden. You know, we need to maintain our garden, you know, and it's not our job to maintain someone else's garden, but we need to take care of our own garden. You know, there's a Chinese statement that says, you shouldn't complain about the snow on your neighbor's roof if, you know, your own porch isn't swept, you know? So like everybody's struggling with their shit, you know, and if you're not taking care of 100% of your shit, then you have no right to talk about somebody else not taking care of their shit.
mm. Yeah, I think Alejandro really hit it for me right before what he just said. Yeah, so it's all good having some type of digital realm where you're helping people out. Hey, change your way you're thinking and that. But yeah, the next step up, the next level is actually being there, like I said, strap the boots on and hit the ground and be a figure in a physical sense where people can approach you physically, and you do that, you contribute that way. So like I said, yeah, it might not get all the weeds, but I'm getting in there, I'm getting my hands dirty. Like when I was chefing, and the chef would always say, hey, if you see a problem, you own it. So thank you, Alejandro, I appreciate it.
I like what Alejandro said. And, you know, sometimes we can't fix the whole damn world, but, you know, they have programs like Big Brother where you can, you know, you can't save the whole, you know, it's like you can't save all the starfish, but I can save this one. So like just, you know, a good question to ask yourself when you hit the pillow at night is, you know, did I do good in the world today? Or did I make somebody else's life better?
Definitely, Joe. And I personally feel like, how do you measure a man?
With a ruler.
With one simple question, for me, it's how big is the problem that he's taking on? How big of the problem is he taking on? Is it a small problem? Is it a big problem? I just think it's like that. But at the same time, I also think of the other ones as other people, as everyone is really important to the whole ecosystem. Like there's like the ego, but then I also want to live without the ego and really see that all the people around me are just part of my ecosystem that are really, if they weren't there, I couldn't do what I'm doing. How? Impossible. So there is that aspect. There's the ego and there's the non-ego aspect of it.
You know, the way I do it is through my business. When, you know, I help people prosper in their business. When good people make good money, they can do more good things. And so, you know, there's a really powerful ripple effect when I help people prosper. And so I pour most of my energy into the people that I serve, because I know that when they're prospering, I don't really coach people that are bad people. You know, if they're bad, I kind of get rid of them pretty quick, or I don't let them in the first place. So, you know, we each have our unique way of, you know, making other people's lives better, and just, you know, focus on your strengths, pay your tithing, help somebody that's a little less fortunate once in a while, and it feels good. You know, I keep a case of water in the back of my car, and mostly for me, but when I'm driving by and somebody's got that thing, please feed me, you know, I'm not going to give them cash, but I give them a bottle of water. I know that's going to sustain them for a while. And it gives me just like this little feel good, like, okay, I'm not being a selfish prick. I'm actually helping someone else out. And that feeling of helping others makes me know I'm doing at least my little tiny part, you know?
I'd like to add on that, following Mahatma Gandhi, of course, be the change you want to see in the world. If you so desire to change people, be the drop of water that creates the ripple, if that makes any sense.
Wonderful, man. I want to speak very briefly on the irritation question that Mr. Neal asked. So I think responsibility is a word that comes up for me, and also this idea of like, I've always felt this need to give unsolicited advice at times to people when they don't really need it, or like when they're not really asking for it, but you feel the need to like chime in. And it's this irritation. I get that. But being a kind of mind wizard in a sense, I reframe things, so I see irritation as like, irritation is what causes the pearl to from the oyster, right? It's like the irritant is what gets you to reveal what is actually beautiful about the situation. So I asked myself, what is beautiful about this? I'm anxious. What's beautiful about this anxiety? I'm frustrated. What's beautiful about this frustration right now? And that softens in a sense. And it's also this idea of, hurt people. But if that were the case, then also free people, right? So so essentially I think it's the compassion elements. It's like the ability to see that, okay, other people are going through their shit, and I've got to be kind of compassionate from that standpoint. Like if someone started storming into your office and just like, smacked you in the face and walked out, you'd be like, what the heck, man? But if they came into you afterwards and they said, hey, look, I'm going through something really tough. I got triggered. I slapped you. I'm actually on medication right now. I have mental illness, and blah, blah, blah. You'd be much more compassionate about that person coming in and smacking you in the face, right? So that's my perspective in terms of that, like creating a distance from the storyline. It's like, okay, this person is just reading a magazine to me. This has nothing to do with my storyline. And at the same time, I can do what I can. I can still assist. I can still show up and be of service. Seeing beauty in all of things. All right, last 5 minutes. That's right, Ryan. So yeah, if anybody else has anything to wrap up today, thank you so much for being here, and may the flow be with you.
Thanks, everyone.
I'm trying to
Ivan's trying to
I'm
unmute.
trying to press the fucking unmute button, bro. I'm like, ah. Okay. So before we all dippity dots out of here, right? I was gonna say something, but I forgot because I was fucking doing that shit. But I'm pretty sure I remember. Yeah. Yeah, yo, for real, let's end this shit. Let's just set a strong intention right now. All of us together, we can just focus on it for about like 30 seconds, 10, 15 seconds, however you feel, just focusing on that image of really ending all of this, and the bad people getting exposed, and the people waking up, just all of us visualizing the people waking up and seeing how they've been wrong the whole time, and them having to accept that, them having to go through the acceptance level, and all of us fighting back for our right to be free, because they're claiming it's for our safety, but maximum security, that's a fucking jail. Maximum freedom, you're living in the jungle. Find your in between. Be the best. Fuck the rest. Everybody. Be safe. Take action.
I just want to say fear is never a resourceful place to be. It's just never, one of my favorite quotes is Shakespeare. He says that our doubts are our traitors and make us lose the good we oft win by failing to attempt. So you can be 99.9% sure, but you let that little 0.1 seed of doubt get in there, and it betrays us. Our doubts are our traitors. Our doubts are our Judas. And it doesn't take much for us to go from certainty to having doubts and not even trying. The fear can take control of us. But one of my, I connected the Shakespeare quote with a scripture that basically says, with a mustard seed of faith, we can move mountains. So what I recommend to people is if you're 99.9% sure, but you got that doubt or you've got that little fear in there, throw it away and replace it with a seed of faith. And that will make you whole and complete and get back into the flow.
I love that. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Genius Days. You're all geniuses as far as I'm concerned. Have an amazing rest of your day wherever you are and stay legendary. Let's do this again next week, same time.